To another episode of Keys to Conversions, the podcast where we unlock the secrets of real estate success and share insider knowledge to empower your journey in this dynamic industry. I'm your host, Mark Strand. Today, I welcome my guest, Sean Gazeley. Sean is not only a colleague, but also my business partner and a trailblazer in his own right. From the electrifying stages of rock bands to the structured world of manufacturing, and now to the innovative realm of real estate, his journey is as unique as it is inspiring. Sean brings a blend of creativity, discipline, and sharp insight into the housing market. Today, we'll dive into his personal story, uncover the specific ways we cater to first-time homebuyers, and discuss why eXp Realty is reshaping the future for real estate professionals. Just tell us about your journey a little bit.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, I'm a traveling musician for years and years and years, and ended up making a decision for marriage, and got married, moved to us, the GTA, let's say, Whitby area, Oshawa. Ended up settling up there. That was my transition out of music. So still inside the music world, but started to become, a family person and a dad and that sort of stuff, working at a golf course, really just making ends meet. But I had a love of two things, marketing and golf at the time. And I thought this is probably a reasonable idea where I live, and using Angus Glen Golf Course as maybe a launch pad for marrying marketing and golf together. That was an idea. So I ended up going back to school again and getting a business degree in marketing from Durham University Center or Durham College. So again, sort of reintroducing myself at an atypical age. So 27 years old, went back to school, met a whole bunch of younger folks than myself, and as funny as it always is, I had 14 feet of hair at the time. It's in a bag. Anyway, but they reintroduced me to a whole brand new music scene while I was doing an education in marketing. So that was kind of my dream. I hope to get to that point. And then, of course, family happens, as it is wont to do in a marriage, and we had twin boys. So at the time, sort of put things on hold, back burner. My wife is a school teacher, so she had all of the benefits, had all of the medical, stuff like that. And we were pretty young in Toronto. It cost a lot of money for twins to go to daycare, so I decided to stay home, which was a big adventure for me as well. But I stayed at home with my kids for 3 years. And then it got to a point in Toronto that this is not where we want to live. We want to go back home. And the only ticket back home for us at the time was taking a job at DuPont, which is a textiles business. They make nylon, carpet yarn, and airbag yarn. So that was our ticket home. And I thought, well, I got to take something. So I worked there for 3 years as a temporary manufacturing employee, and Tiffany, my wife, looked after the kids at home. So until we could get her back into the teaching world, I made $11.25 an hour for 3 years, just to put pasta on the table and get our family home. But during that time frame, it was really a life lesson on what do you like to do, what do you want to do, what's satisfying for you. So although it paid bills and handsomely moved my way up inside the corporate world there to a management position, it really was, a critical decision at some point, saying I'm at the top now. I'm at the top of what I can do at this place, and it's still not what I want to do. So collectively, we made a decision to move out of that. So I went into a marketing business, again, just as a trainee sort of thing, and ended up buying that business and taking it over and expanding that business quickly across Canada with the resources that were available to me at the time via that business. Again, another real stretch where you have to put yourself in front of people every day, and you've got to hear no all day long, because it was like direct sales, third-party marketing inside large stores, Costco, Canadian Tire, gas stations. You see a lot of people. So you really have to be a bit of a chameleon and how to read somebody fast, understand what their needs and their wants are fast. You have to learn how to ask the right questions timely, and then qualify people for different things. From there, it was hey dad, you said you were going to be at home more often. You were working at the manufacturing thing, and now you're flying to Dallas all the time. Or you're going, hey Wes, you're doing whatever. I'm all over the place. And my daughter, one day, I was falling asleep in the chair in the manufacturing business, and she's 11 years old, and going, I don't remember the last 6 years. They're gone. So I made a conscious decision not to do that anymore, and then I got trapped doing it again. So it was, hey dad, like the money's great, but we haven't seen you in 3 months. Do you think you'd be home for Christmas this year? And they're like, ooh, dummy.
Yeah.
What's important? And that just brought me full circle back around to, let's make a decision. What are your goals? What do you love to do? And it surrounded itself with family. That's what I wanted to do, to be able to be here and enjoy that. And I have to.
Did you not share with me at one time that it was an aunt or someone that suggested, hey, why not real estate? Have you looked at doing real estate? Am I wrong here?
No, you're right. I was just about to say that at the end. That was the person that knew I was trying to make a big decision was my mother-in-law. And she said, Sean, you know what? You never shut up. You like to talk. You like people. You'd probably be a really good real estate agent. And that was a bit of a mind jog again, because that's what I wanted to do coming back to Kingston, was real estate. But I had 3 kids under 3 and 2 houses and a bunch of cars, and you need to put food on the table. So I couldn't do what real estate required me to do comfortably. Anyway, so at a different point along that travel, along that road, was my mother-in-law's sort of drip. Hey, Sean, you make a good real estate agent. And I said, yeah, that's really what I want to do. So again, just sit around the kitchen table. What do you think? So it took me about 12 months worth of time to liquidate all the assets, sell the businesses, and study and train for real estate, which at the time was not the same as it is today. It wasn't an online course. It was a book and stuff like that. There was an online component of it, but I'd work all day and then study for 5 hours at night, like 12 hours. It's 17-hour day was every day for a year, trying to get the licensing done and be done with it. That was my transition into real estate. At the time, I was fairly nervous, so I joined up with a couple fellows that were reputable. They had great reputations, great personalities, and were suitable sort of business partners for me at the time to help me along. And I had very good fortune where a business owner, builder locally in Kingston, knew that I was studying and going to be a real estate agent. And he called me basically the day before my license arrived and said, Sean, I'm looking for a representative for my business, for manufacturing houses. Would you be interested? And I went, sure, I will be there every day. So as much as I say I was trying to get back to family life, for the first 3 years I was open housing and crushing hard hours. Christmas Day, I'd open house. New Year's Eve, I'm open housing every day. That's what it took. But a huge amount of success right out of the gate, which is not, the typical sort of, that's not the trajectory that's normal. This was just, it was weird. It just happened. So. Thanks.
Yeah, timing was right for you in a lot of different ways. Okay. You alluded to it a little bit, but with asking lots of questions and listening when you're talking to people from your past industries, how have you transferred that over to your real estate career today?
It's the ability to separate needs from wants when you talk to somebody. There are critical things that people need. There's lots of stuff that they want, and of course everybody, at different stages in their life. When you're young, you want everything. When you're in the middle, you can afford to buy everything. When you're to the next stage, you want to get rid of everything. So the travel through life for me has been able to differentiate those 3 components of who am I talking to, and the ability to ask 5 questions, basically. We used to call it 5 steps to creating a conversation. Anyway, to be able to do those 5 steps, analyze somebody quickly, you can identify what their needs are as opposed to their wants. And that's been a critical advantage for me, to be able to understand different demographics, different people. Right market, we've talked about it before, but in the music world, you play in a club and other people that are sort of at different walks of life, they would never ever even walk through the front door because they're scared. But I'm there for a week. You know, I come from middle class, conservative Kingston family, right? But to be exposed to all of this stuff, biker gangs, and I won't go into lots of stories, but be exposed to all that culture, pretty eye opening when you're 18 years old, and you're that's what you live with. It's an amazing adventure. So all of those things combined, plus the manufacturing thing, like really understanding how to work with 70 people and how to engage them, how to talk to them, how to motivate them, how to do all those kind of things. It all transfers over into any sort of one-on-one service-related industry, or just to be able to communicate. Not everybody hears the same words the same way, so you have to be able to speak to people, and you have to understand them quickly. Otherwise, you lose them.
Now we're going to talk specifically about first-time home buyers. How has that experience helped you when working with first-time home buyers? My experience, well, most often, and with my experience, is that first-time home buyers are typically sacrificing something. You're usually not entering the market buying your dream home, so you may be sacrificing space. You may be sacrificing the neighborhood that you're in. How have those experiences sort of helped when we're communicating with our first-time home buying clients in having that discussion? What's most important to you?
Listening. Listening. Listening is the biggest tip you can possibly do. You have to listen with a pen or a pencil or whatever, a piece of paper, a bit old there, but listen with a pencil or a pen and write down everything they say, showing them, number one, you're engaged in what they're saying. It's important to you because you're actually writing it down. It's not just, okay, whatever. You're listening to me now. I'm going to listen to you first. And then from there, you get to analyze, again, the needs, the wants, separate them. How does it specifically apply to first-time home buyers? Because they're very excited. They've never been walked down this path before. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of scared. There's a lot of excited. So the ability to slow things down, completely slow things down, and understand the client, that's what all of the experiences that I've had so far have contributed to me being, I think I really enjoy working with first-time home buyers, simply because I'm so satisfied at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if it's $100,000 house or $1 million, I don't care. But them, that face at the end of it all going, wow, we did it, that sort of thing. It's a process, and understanding the process. We are to be, as licensed professionals, sure, we buy and sell, we trade real estate, but you have to be a trusted advisor, like a counsel on many, many levels. And you're always talking to them about dangers and pitfalls and, slow down, it's going to be okay, we've done this before. So it's really that right-hand person that they can vet out their problems or whatever, and then crush it, like right down to, this is what the process of elimination in buying a house is. And I think the experiences that we have with age start to show up. Like, I'm sorry, you're not going to buy a $700,000 house. You've only got a job for full-time for the last 3 months, and your partner is part-time. And although the bank says you can afford $800,000, you got to eat, you got to run the house, you got to do all these things to give them those little bits of life. How many kids do you have? Oh, you need a mudroom. You need a mudroom. There's 3 seasons worth of coats and boots and backpacks and all kind. Like, you understand life a little bit better, I think. So all of those contributing factors help people, especially first-time home buyers, because there's so many questions. And whatever, you can read a book and watch a YouTube channel or something like that, but there's something to be said for experience, good or bad.
What do you find to be the most difficult challenge from first-time home buyers in our market today? We've obviously seen home prices, well, just affordability in general, whether it be going to the grocery store or looking to buy a home. We've seen prices, inflation's been an issue, which has obviously affected the real estate market as well. How can we help navigate these waters?
That's a great question. So the front part of that, the biggest asset you can be is to get them prepared for disappointments. Because the first time home buyer, there's a lot of conditions or whatever that you have to go through, like financing conditions and stuff, and competition to buy properties. So again, go back to what I was saying before. A first time home buyer is very excited. There's a lot of, oh my gosh, I'm going to Canada's Wonderland for the first time, and I really want to go on that roller coaster sort of ride. And that roller coaster is buying real estate. So to timely manage the potential disappointments and pitfalls if you're in competition, especially go back a few years, right, with the crazy market we had, people are offering 15, 16 times on properties and losing. And it was really taking wind out of sails hard. They sort of just throw their hands up and go, well, we can't do it. Obviously, we can't do it. So managing that process, again, understanding their needs and figuring it out with them, but really managing that disappointment level for a first-time home buyer. Oh, geez, we didn't get the financing. We can't buy the house. Well, we need to prepare for that. So preparations, and it's just great to work with an agent, maybe depending on who clicks with you, to be able to manage all of those processes ahead of time. That's
Yeah, and I think I'd like to add, talk to your mortgage professional early and mark out what you need to do to qualify for the price point that you're looking. Do that first. Sean and I can advise you on who some of our favorites are in the Kingston market. Certainly. But really, that's a starting process. We believe that's a starting process, is to figure out where you want to be and what will it take for you to get there.
100%. Location. Budget dictates location, especially in a market like Kingston, where there are so many different pockets of levels of homes, let's say, and prices of homes. First step is absolutely to get pre-qualified. Go in and talk to an advisor, find out what your limits are, what your goals are, discuss it with them and say, okay, so we've got this job, here's our paychecks, which means on paper and a spreadsheet or something, we can afford this house. Okay, that's great. So that house belongs in these 3 or 4 or 5 different areas. So you really have to know what your buying power is. And then again, you have to be able to work with the clients and they're all big smiles and they're going, hooray, we're going to be able to buy something for $500,000. And you're going, yeah, maybe, but let's make sure that you've got the funds for the new roof or the windows, or disaster, something happens, like you've got to have resources. And if we're all in at that point, then we're not buying that house. We're buying something that is all looked after first. So all the payments are going to be paying for all of the updates. So it's not out of pocket. I'm the guy that speaks to that very loudly to all of my new home buyers, saying, when I moved back to Kingston, we bought a house that was an old house. We knew that. And we knew it needed everything. It had red shed carpeting and paneling and cork walls in the basement, and they smoked it. Anyway, beautiful home, still here. Thought I was going to be gone in 5 years. But what the point is, within the first 5 years of owning this house, the roof was toast, gone. And to pull $10,000 out of my pocket, again, I was making $11.25 an hour. That was a pretty big stretch. So I kept that in the back of my mind. I'm going, I don't want another person, another client, another special relationship via real estate to go through that, because it's today, especially, $300 for 3 bags of groceries. It's hard to pull cash out of a bank simply because it's just not there. So try to keep that. What do you got? Okay, so here's what you're pre-approved for, and what's your backup, because something's going to go wrong. Your car might die. You got money for that, or is everything inside your house right now, and now you're mortgage poor? So those are kind of those are the things. Just you got to work with them and listen.
Yeah, and the factors that will influence someone's buying power is their income, their credit, and how much of a down payment they have. So work with your mortgage professional, or reach out to Sean or I, and we can refer you to a great one in our area, and they'll walk you through the process of getting pre-approved. But those are the 3 basic factors that are going to affect your buying power. The buying process for a first-time home buyer, can you walk us through what you're typically seeing as far as a buying process, and what someone might expect when they work with us?
A buying process. Okay. Well, step one, you do all the preliminary stuff before you even go out, check any houses out. They have to understand what they're asking you to do as a real estate professional. So sit down, go to Tim Hortons or go to coffee shop or kitchen table or wherever. Sit down and sketch it out. Say, here's our timeline. Where do we want to be here? Well, again, how do we get there? And develop the process with them. So the steps along the way in the buying thing, identify what your needs are, not your wants. What do you need and why? Then you put together a plan financially with your lender. So that could be a bank, a mortgage brokerage, or whatever. But you get a pretty good idea straight up. If I was going to buy X, can I? Yes, dandy. So you're prepared. Now you've got a budget. Perfect. From there, I really want to talk to you a lot as a young person about who's your representative from a legal standpoint. And where are you? Do you have a lawyer? Do you have a solicitor? Do you have something like that? Are you just using this as a real estate transaction for a lawyer? Or do you need everything? Like, you're buying a significant asset here, so you need a will. You're going to need a bunch of those things. So the advice would be different for every single group or every clients that you work with. So sort of step two. And then from there is walk them through the process of conditions inside an offer. Why do we do a home inspection? Why do we have these sort of things depending on the property? Are we going to do a septic inspection, or are we going to do a well test, or those kind of things, depending on the property that they're looking for? But that's sort of step 1, 2, 3. Once you get all that in there and they understand it, what is a home inspection? Okay, well, home inspection is a 25-year plan on the property you're going to buy. It doesn't necessarily, their job is to shoot holes in the property, find every problem that there is, which is great. But it also identifies a footprint or a plan of maintaining the house on a schedule, normal maintenance, but just things that as a younger person, they've never experienced it before. So, landscaping is important. I don't want everything rolling into my basement. Simple things. So simple for us because we've done it so many times, but for them, it's like a big wow. That's important, is it? Yeah, that's really important. Let's make sure we do that. And then from there, explaining again at the front end of it, saying, for me, a process of buying a house for a first-time home buyer. Okay, let's develop a relationship, find out what you want. Let's get you in front of a lender, find out what you can do. Then let's get with somebody that's going to be able to help you legally on a first time and forward. And then understand at that point that the buying process for me is an elimination. It's not a selection, it's an elimination. Saying, this is what I got, this is what I got, this is what I can afford, here's the areas that those are, and then start to go look. But looking on realtor.ca or MLS and stuff like that, as exciting and fun as that is, everybody does it. Get them to the point of you have to actually go out and look at a house and look at it 3 times. Look at it in the morning, in the afternoon. How busy are the roads? If you got kids, when when it's time to come home from school, are the roads mass? What is it? So anyway, understanding from our perspective, from a real estate perspective, what they're going to experience and how they're going to live there. The process of elimination, when they're finally every checkbox is checked off and you're going, yep, this is the right place. You're prepared. You just pull the trigger and away you go. You have supreme confidence at that point. If you do it backwards, if you just start going shopping, not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it. You fail. And our job is to manage everything, make it as uncomplicated, headache-free as possible. And they have a lot of confidence through the process that they have A, good advice, B, this is what we want, we can afford it, it's the right spot, it's the right everything. When that thing pops up, and it always does, bang, you've done all your homework. It's like writing an exam. Somebody should have told me to do all that in high school.
Right. I'm going to share a non-typical first buying experience that I had with a client. Actually, you were involved with them also. So I met a lovely young couple at one of my listings. And actually, the first home I showed them after I met them at this listing, they actually bought. But I'm going to give them some kudos there because that's not typical, but they were so prepared and they knew what they wanted. When they saw it, they were ready to go. So that's not the typical experience, but they were so prepared that I was totally comfortable with it. They were ready to go. All their financing was in place, and it was like, no, this is our house. Okay, let's get it.
And I know it's easy right now to look backwards and go, oh yeah, that was easy. It wasn't easy. They had to do all that work beforehand and be patient and get it done. But when, like you said, when you look at the right house, we can buy it. We know we can, and that's extremely comfortable position to be in, especially in our markets, right? Inside all of the real estate markets in Ontario. Mighty other preparations spoiled by my mother used to say that nonstop, and it that experience, that knowledge, that's wisdom that is gained. I listen to it somehow. I remember it. The 3 brain cells that still work. I remember those comments, and it's something that I imparted on my own kids. Saying, "My dear, the preparations. Be ready. If you're not ready, you better be swinging."
They really were the dream clients because they were so educated and prepared that it made my job super easy, which is certainly not the rule. It's the exception in our industry.
Yeah. Again, first-time home buyers, the internet is a valuable and disastrous tool at the same time, because it's not it's a good tool, but yeah, you need to have all of these conversations. We're lucky in that scenario that you're talking about, where they had done a lot of legwork, and that really helps our process, streamlines it, but it makes it effective. So they did it all by themselves. Our process of here's what you do as a first-time home buyer, it incorporates everything that these people already did. And if we meet somebody that's brand new, starry-eyed, and going, we want to buy a house, awesome, let's buy a house. But there's a lot of work to do first. And yeah, the ability to understand and slow the process down somewhat, although everyone's excited, you have to be able to slow it down just a little bit, make good business decisions, because it's $500,000. For me, $500,000 goes back 25, 30 years, where that's $500,000. I changed the words.
So post-sale, first-time home buyer sale support that we offer post-transaction, obviously we are diligent in staying in touch with our past clients. I can think of one just last week. I got this first-time home buyer a lawnmower, and there was an issue with the lawnmower, and I had to go back. But can you tell us about the process of working with first-time home buyers, and how we remain their trusted advisor beyond the sale?
That's really easy, actually. Again, you have to understand the client to begin with. So what is their goal for their first home? Is it a 5-year plan? Is it a 10-year plan? Is it a lifetime plan? So to attend to their specific needs inside a marketplace, families grow. Traditionally, families grow. So you have to understand what their plan is for 5, 10, 15 years, whatever. And then that would encourage, let's say, I bought a townhome. Sean, I want to buy this townhome, and I want to be here for 5 years. So the diligence, or the post sale sort of thing, would be to give them refreshers on, this is your current market value. Where are you in your payments? How much equity have we built? What's the next step? But to do what we call as a CMA, but a comparative or a comparable market analysis of what their house is currently on the market, and have we made enough money to move, or do we have to wait? Market changes. So those kind of things. You have customers that bought just before COVID, and if they had they purchased at that point, what a smart investment, because in 3 years' time, the house is worth $100,000 more than what it was. Let's say, just shoot a number. So they've made a great investment, and to tell them that and say, now's a good time to go and get yourself appraised. Figure out what the bank's going to give you for a loan or a credit or a home, a line of credit or something like that, so that when it comes time to move again, you're not tapping into your own resources. You're using your investment to begin with, and then helping them make that decision. So the post thing is always understand what your client needs, long-term, short-term, etc., and then tailor towards that. But you have to understand that our business is not transactional, or some people are, but our business is not transactional. It's about relationships, understanding the family, and getting back with them. You know, I have more fun going out with clients for lunch that I haven't seen in 2 or 3 years, but you're in contact with them. You know, chat, but pop in for lunch and rehash all of the stories, the trials, tribulations, etc. on the purchase, and then to where they are now. You'd be so surprised at how that relationship grows and how rewarding it is to be part of their lives. Oh, you've got a baby coming. Wow. All right, what are we doing? And to be able to help them with those kind of things. Or if they're retired, we downsize you to a bungalow. What's our next step? Are we selling the bungalow? Are we moving to assisted care? Like what's going on? So that's the post stuff. It's just be involved with your clients, make a good choice and make a good relationship decision with them to begin with. Knowing that going forward, you're going to be a trusted advisor for anything. Hey, you need a painter? I got one. You need somebody to fix your roof? I got one of those too. Call me. So all of those things as a client relationship are super important. There are people in every business that are transactional. They just want the paycheck and bye-bye. See you later. I'm on to the next sort of kill. In our business, advantage us because we get to deal with people on a long-term basis. It's much more fun.
It certainly is.
And reward.
Yeah. And like previous to real estate, I tried to be like that in my everyday life. So I find it to be a natural progression. I enjoy staying friends with people, just generally speaking.
Well, yeah, that was a referral tip. There's a gentleman named Brian Buffini, one of the best coaches I've ever been exposed to. And he's a referral-based business. And I look back 7 years ago and go, when I changed from a sales approach to a referral-based business where I did no advertising, zero, nothing. I just talked to my database, if you will, and started generating referral. So you're working with people that you know, you love, and that you want to work with. Well, that's a pretty easy day to get up and throw your boots on, tie them tight, and away you go. The other way around, you're chasing your tail, and it's just not for me. Some people, that's what they like to do. I like people.
Yeah, generally speaking, if that's the nucleus of your business and that's how you generate business, you're probably working with like people all the way through. So it's actually more enjoyable for us as agents also.
I think so. Yeah, I think so for sure. You know, whatever. You can spend $1 bazillion on marketing for no reason whatsoever if you just work with people.
Right.
That's what
so I'm going to swing the conversation a little bit here. You were previously with it. Golf, sure. Yeah. You were you were previously with brick and mortar brokerage, and I just want to pick your brain a little bit on what led to the decision to switch over to EXP.
Many contributing factors to that one. There's many contributing factors to that. So in a traditional brick and mortar business, there are pay structures based on performance, based on past performance, etc. So those would be affectionately known as splits, or your commission splits with the owner. Those splits have a lot to do, I won't say 100% to do, but they have a lot to do with running the brick and mortar component of the business. And those monies that are paid out all the time don't stop. So a bunch of sort of successful years looking at bottom end at the end of the year, net, how much did I pay? What did I get out of that brick and mortar business? And was it a smart business decision? We're asking people to make smart business decisions, advising them on smart, but we have to make smart business decisions as well. So what did it represent, and what was all of that? Brick and mortar was safe. Branding was very safe at the time. I was with a Canadian branded company, and the transition over to EXP was part and parcel with Jay's introduction to real estate. So I was a little single-minded in my opinions, only because that's all I had experienced. My grandfather's kind of business model was what I was doing. which was the traditional brick and mortar business as you refer to it. Had a bit of a luxury for a certain amount of time when Jay was being introduced into the business. He was transitioning as well, but he could afford the time to go and interview with a number of different models, let's say, and introduced me to EXP. So once I got through that whole process was, wow, this is, and time after time after time, I was like, wow, really? It doesn't cost, I get this. Wow. Sort of over and over and over again. And there are many contributing factors to that. But when I transitioned to a cloud-based brokerage, which is EXP, and it still had brick and mortar to a degree, but hubs and stuff like that, as you know, all that's there. But the non-traditional sort of sense of it, it took a little bit of time for me to warm up to that. But once I got it, it was wow. That, again, wow. I came home from experiencing what is the EXP world, cloud-based, computer-generated Sean Gazeley avatar, and I'm walking around the world looking pretty hip in my glasses and my hat and stuff like that in the world as an avatar. And I came home pretty excited telling Tiffany about it, going, it was the craziest thing. And I wanted to tell the kids, not kids, they're 20 years old, but anyway, went in to tell them about the experience. And I look at the television and they're all playing some sort of whatever game, and they're all avatars, all of them. There's 20 people on the screen. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the television. I'm looking at Tiffany going, oh my God, these are the millennials, right? The millennials are coming. And they're all avatars. If I'm not an avatar, I can't speak to the largest buying population in history. I can't talk to them. So there was all of these little changes in my approach to what is business. And when COVID happened, I was still in the old structure and the doors were locked. So I was paying a significant amount of a desk fee, and I couldn't access my office, couldn't access printers, couldn't access anything. EXP was seamless. It was, I'm up and going on a cloud, no interruptions to business. My first month inside EXP, I sold 4 properties online, never brought anybody through the door. So the ability for this particular brokerage to leverage what they have as a technology, provide it for their sales representatives, agents, etc., to be able to give them that power to work from your phone and not be tied down to an office and not have to. You can reach anybody at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you need a question answered, they're there. And that is not the case, in my experience, in traditional models. So it really did empower my business quite a bit. You know, four properties in April at the height of COVID, bang, and sell 4 of them from my cell phone. Here's the video. These weren't cheap properties. And that's what EXP did. It enabled a lot of other aspects of it, which probably is not the platform here for it, but there's many business components of it that make sense.
Yeah, like the very different from, I'll use the term brick and mortar again, brokerages. The agents actually own the company through stock. So the model's been flipped to us being on the top now versus the brick and mortar models. Yes, correct.
Traditional.
So yeah, that's a huge benefit. And we actually have the ability to be split-less by producing enough sales. You can actually get your split back in stock. So
it's a cap.
For me, I think that's my biggest goal right now, is to eventually be an icon agent and be splitless.
Yeah. So, you know, the cap is what we're talking about. You're capped out at a certain level, depending on where you are inside the process. But yeah, basically.
But even beyond that, you have the ability to get that money back in stock.
100%.
Your cap, yeah.
100%. Wow, that's, you know, I remember. Can I use numbers here?
Fire away.
Okay. So I remember paying just over $60,000 one year in commission. That was a pretty significant thing to swallow, and then to understand what the tax implications were on all of that, and going, wow, I thought I was rich, and now I'm going, ooh, that's pretty. Anyway, so it never stopped. Like over $60,000. That's a lot of money. Now we make a lot of money, but
so give or take, that's 15% of what you would currently pay if you had a year like that.
Pardon me? Sorry.
What you would be split on is give or take 15-16% of what you would currently pay to a brokerage if you had a year like that. Yeah.
15%. So it's and then you get it all back.
Right.
In stocks.
Yeah.
And the stocks are traded on NASDAQ, right? So it's, anyway, like you said, or maybe I said it, it's your grandfather's method. This is how you do business, and you wear your tweed jacket, argyle sweater, and the cloth tie, and you go to work. That's not real estate right now. I'm talking to you in a golf shirt. What a fun way to do business. But yes, financially, agent-centric concept is, it's not forward thinking. It's been there for a long time. It's just nobody does it, because nobody that's at the top wants to flip that pyramid to that. They want this, and this business is so forward thinking in that level. We're going, we want to attract the best agents in the world. We want to attract business, and they trade that technology. We reap the benefits for that technology that they're doing all the work behind the scenes for. We get that because we are owners in the whole process. Not that we have a huge say, but there are better minds than mine that are making those decisions, and obviously it's profitable. I'm still here. I'm 5 years in it now. 4?
Yeah, and anyone that might be listening to this anywhere in the world, in fact, not necessarily just in Canada, but anyone in the world who wants more information on the EXP model, both Sean and my contact's going to be in the podcast notes below. You're more than welcome to reach out to us. And I want to thank Sean Gazeley for being my guest today on the Keys to Conversions podcast. And I'll leave it to him for a few final thoughts.
My pleasure to be here today. Absolutely my pleasure to be here today. Thanks for coming. Happy that I'm able to be part of your process, Mark. Number one, you're doing a great job, and approaching the business at a level that I don't. I'm older, but learning. You need to learn. So this is a platform that traditionally I wouldn't do that. I'm more of a let's go have a coffee kind of guy. But this is absolutely fantastic, and it's needed inside the business. So I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm very pleased to share lots of stories, lots of experiences and stuff like that. Pretty open to that. I do caution people, and in the amount of information I give you, or stories that I start to tell, I do caution people. Say, I wouldn't believe me after the 5th story in a row either. I say that all the time. It's all true, but sometimes hard to swallow. And inside real estate, same thing. There's a lot of experiences that I wouldn't share with anybody, but there's a lot of things that we do get to experience. And to be able to have a platform like this to discuss it freely without names or anything like that, this is fun. Maybe it helps somebody. That's great. If it helps one person, again, that's great. If it touches somebody that says, reach out to a professional, whether it be a doctor, whether it be a financial advisor or a real estate professional or somebody. Mark, you can help me with my golf swing. I can help you with your golf swing, but I can't fix a car. I take it to the garage. I can't fix it. I don't know how to do that. I can sell your house, and I can help you with whatever. You want to learn how to play guitar? I can help you do that too. But from a business standpoint, the best part of our process right now is the open communication, and the ability to access resources and information with speed right now is incredible. And that's the difference between one brokerage and one that is very agile, which is EXP. Wonderful place to be.
Cheers, Sean.
Cheers. I hope you have a great day. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
For today's episode of Keys to Conversions, I hope you took something valuable or entertaining away from this conversation. Remember, success in real estate, just like in life, is all about mindset and continuous growth. If you're a realtor and you or one of your team members have a great journey to share, I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with your fellow agents. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, drop us a line. Until next time, keep striving, keep thriving, and stay curious. This is Mark Strand signing off. Happy selling, everyone.